James, what you thought, man? What your thoughts, man?
He's in the
Let's talk some draft, dude. You know, it's
Hey,
enough.
let's
It's enough.
you want to talk about my Texas players, man?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Get to it.
There's a guy that wears number 4, and I want you to want you to give me all of the insights of this guy that wears number 4 for the Texans.
Oh, okay, now I listened to you. You was I watched your breakdown on him, boy. You was geeked up on some DeShawn Elliott. I was watching you.
But I want the
Now,
good. Hold on. I don't want all the sweet stuff. I want the good, the bad, and the
yeah,
ugly. I want
yeah,
all.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
give me.
give you all that. I'm not giving you all the good. I'm gonna give you the real. All right. So DeShawn Elliott, this was really his first full year starting, first team All American. He played a lot last year, but didn't start. I think he only started one game last year, but he came through as a breakout, first team All American, 6'2", 205 pounds. Now, if you look at his stats, now got all his stats. He has 63 tackles this year, 8.5 for loss, 106 total tackles in 3 years. Now, here's the good about DeShawn. I mean, he has 6 interceptions as well. Here's the good about DeShawn. He's aggressive. If you watch how he plays, he's very aggressive. I feel like he's a leader because he made a lot of calls on the defense as far as the back end. So he was really good as far as getting the guys in their position. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's a good coming downhill to hit you, and he's not afraid of contact. The only problem I have with Elliott is he does not have the greatest hips as far as switching and turning. So if you saw games where he got those interceptions, a lot of them were in his hands. They were thrown to him. It wasn't a situation where he was playmaking with it. And I just feel like if you put him on a safety and a safety can get him in space and a safety has wiggle, he's going to struggle. If you get him in space because he doesn't have good change of direction. So if somebody catches the ball in front of him and does a quick juke on him, I don't feel like he has the good hip turn to make open his hips and turn and go with them. Now, straight line, he is good. But as far as being in space and being a tackler in space, that's what I worry about, especially being on the next level. A lot of people saw the glitz and glamour of what he did because that USC game, he kind of blew up. So everybody kind of rode that. But if you really look down at the inside of it, I don't feel like he should be a top pick. Actually, I felt like he should have went back to school and stayed another year to hone his craft because I feel like he may get overdrafted because of his athletic skills. But as far as the awareness and the um, true athletic ability as far as hips, I feel like that's going to be a problem for him going against tight ends and fast receivers. I think that's going to be a problem when he gets into the NFL.
So that's his cons right there. So he don't have the hips to cover well to tackle well out in space or get good angles. So are you talking about more of a probably out in space a Barham Jones 2.0, or I know he
I
tackled
mean,
better. I
I,
don't put him in the same breath of tackling as Barham Jones because Barham Jones
I
don't
think he's
tackle.
a better tackler because Byron Jones, he don't want that contact. Now, when you watch DeShawn Elliott, he will stick his nose in. He comes in like a heat seeking missile. When he sees the play, he comes in and with reckless abandon. My problem is like Byron Jones. I feel like Byron Jones is a better athlete than him as far as with his hips. Because Byron Jones, if you look at Byron Jones is an out of this world athlete. Well,
He
nobody's
is.
questioning his
Mhm.
athletic ability. The problem with Byron Jones has been we put him at safety. He's not that tackler. He needs to be up on a guy, press coverage because that's what Byron Jones is. He's not a guy that's going to get you tons of interceptions, but if you put him on that good press coverage, he's sticky and he's going to stay with that receiver. And you're going to have to be a great quarterback and throw that ball in a tight window. And like I said, with Elliott, he has a lot of great characteristics. Size, 6'2", 205 pounds. You always want that because you see safeties at 5'11", 6 foot. So you love the size. My thing is that I worry about him getting drafted then higher than he maybe is right now. Maybe he gets drafted in a second or third round because of the credentials of being an All American. But I don't think that he's really ready for that stature as far as draft. I think he actually should be drafted a little bit lower because I'm telling you, if you put him in a starting position now in the NFL with those NFL receivers, I feel like he's going to struggle with that hip, with his hips and opening those.
So you got Frasier as a better prospect. Well as a already in the NFL. Frazier's just going to be better in that position for as far as strong safety with the Cowboys. So we should put our reservations on him, right? That's correct.
I don't know if we should put our reservations on Frazier. I think the ultimate type guy. I don't know if you guys seen a kid named Armani Watts. He's really good from Texas A&M. Also, Marcus Allen from Penn State. He's also got a lot of good range. I think the biggest thing that we need is we need a thumper that has some kind of range. Now, I like Kayvon Frazier because you can set him in that box, and a lot of times they were moving him closer to the box like Barry Church. But when you had him in coverage, you saw that lacking. We need to kind of find a guy that can do twofold. I mean, the guy that people have been talking about with Dallas possibly in that first round too is Darren James. That's the type of guy that we need. Honestly, if you're looking at a safety and that caliber, that type of guy that can change our whole defense. Because when you get a guy like that that's athletic and do everything, he makes the job easier for everybody else.
I agree 1000%. Shout out to Vosh Lombardi in the house too as well. Hey, he said Elliott is a late third round guy, maybe. So, but you know, when you're talking about the Derwin James kid, that guy, oh my goodness.
That boy is fire. I mean, just watching him, and you're looking at a dude that's 6'3", 220 pounds, and he holds that weight well. He's just now. That's where I was saying, Law, when I'm talking about those hips. Now you see the distinct difference from a Derwin James. That boy can just turn, open his hips, and follow and trail anybody, and he can lower that boom on you. That's the type of guy you need. And then when you got Chris Richard in the fold, as far as what he can bring to the table, as far as coaching up any kind of players, man, that gets me excited as far as our secondary, what we're going to be looking forward to.
My goodness, man. So who else on the Texans that we guys want to pull up? Darreck, who else you got in mind?
I was definitely very interested in hearing about more about Malik Jefferson. The tape and everything I saw, he looks like he just jumps right off, always around the ball. I really like that. Can definitely lay the wood. I'm curious to get your thoughts. My experience with him is really limited to about the Red River rivalry game. So,
and we've been losing those, and I don't
I'm
like.
Okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm sure you are. You really should have lost that last game. Y'all got lucky because we were just doing just goofy things. We just kept you on the game. Y'all really lost that game. Really watched the game. You lost. You did. You did. Anyway,
but we still have the hat, so
I'm gonna switch up now. Just let it go. Now, as far as Malik Jefferson, now here's the thing with Malik Jefferson. Now, I'm gonna tell you, all out of everybody that's coming out of Texas this year, y'all gonna be surprised of my person I'm high on. I like Malik Jefferson, but let me tell you something. 6'3", 240 pounds, has all the measurables, All American, second team All American, had 233 total tackles in his 3-year career. Awesome. But if you really watch Malik Jefferson, if you really watch him, he gets washed out a lot. He can't. There's a lot of times he doesn't have, to me, that dog mentality at a middle linebacker.
I don't want him. I'm looking for some dogs, baby. I don't want no chihuahuas. I don't want no puppies.
I'm just keeping it real.
Go keep it real with me, man.
I'm just keeping it real. Like, he's playing middle linebacker, and you get enamored with the athletic ability. You get enamored with it. And in the Big 12, they don't play defense in the Big 12. They don't play none. So you can get away with looking like better than you are in the Big 12 because there's not a lot of defense that goes on in the Big 12. And if you really watch him, he gets washed out by blockers. And a lot of times he comes in kind of soft on the hits. And I just feel like he doesn't have that dog mentality for the middle linebacker in the NFL. He'll be a great athletic player. He'll be somebody that'll be good if he plays off people. But if you're putting him at a middle linebacker to call everything, I just don't think he's that guy. I just don't think he has that mentality. I think the athletic ability overweighs that. The person that I really like that nobody really talks about is Holton Hill. That is my favorite player.
Yep.
Problem is that he gets in trouble too much. But if you really look at Holton Hill, 6'3", 200-pound quarterback, he has all the traits that you want. This dude, before he got kicked off the team, and it's nothing to brag about, he got kicked off the team, 51 tackles, 2 interceptions returned for a touchdown. The dude was monstering it this year, and I'm telling you, he could be that guy. But once again, when you have those discipline, you have those red flags, those NFL teams are going to look at it and it's going to drop you. But if you get him in a 6th round or a 7th round because he's dropped, man, you got a steal.
Oh, wow. What about this
You
other
have
guy?
a steal, Law. Listen to what I tell you. Holton Hill is a steal.
I'm going to look him up. Man. Definitely
Look him
will.
up. He's physical. Now
Uh-huh.
you know how Marinelli and he likes our corners to tackle. He wants our cornerbacks to be able to play, be able to get in that space and make tackles. Watch how he comes. He comes hard and he comes like an animal, and he's physical and he wraps up. He's not one of those guys that just looks for the big hit. He actually wraps you up. The thing is, he just has to trust his technique more because he gets a little grabby. But man, 6'3", 200-pound quarterback dog, and that can really run and has the mentality. That's the guy that you want.
Which game you want me to focus on that he played against? What's his best game?
He played the first 9 games. So if you really want to look at some really good tape, honestly, that USC game he turned out. He played. We played against early Baylor. He played good in that Baylor game.
And which game he played bad in? I want a good game and a bad game.
I'll give you a bad game.
Real talk. Bad game and a good game.
I'll give you a bad game. I believe when we played Maryland, I believe he went against DJ Moore. DJ Moore kind of ate us up that game. That's how I really found out about DJ Moore, because I kind of didn't know about him all like that. But he kind of killed us, and Maryland kicked our butts that game. So that's a game where he kind of got shown out because, like I said, sometimes he doesn't trust his technique and he gets kind of grabby. So I think that's really his biggest issue. But if you're looking at all the athletic traits that you want in a cornerback, he meets all those.
What is it about that tackle guy you guys got? Was it Connor?
I believe Connor Williams. Yes. Now Connor Williams, I actually put a video where he was manhandling some kid, pushed him on the ground, put him. I mean, I was getting excited. That's how I want to tackle somebody. If I can hit somebody, that's why I want to put him in the ground. Now with Connor Williams, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't no offensive tackle dude. Like, I don't know the offensive guys on the line like that. Like, don't sit there and let me front to you like I know it. Oh, let him false step. But I will tell you, his sophomore year was better than his junior this past year because he was injured a lot. But if you're looking at the tackle position, I think he's going to be okay. But to me, he reminds me kind of like Jake Matthews with the Atlanta Falcons. Hyped up good, but I don't really think he's just that real deal. I think he's good, but I don't think he's going to be great.
Possible swing guy next level, or
swing guy, but I don't think he's going to be that dominant guy on the next level. You got to understand, Texas, even though we had a good year with our players, I just feel like we had a lot of athletic guys, but guys that really weren't game changers, which I feel like our recruiting class that we have coming in, we have more game changers coming on that. So we'll see.
No doubt, man. That was the Texas rundown, man. Hey, what y'all team gonna do next year, man? Before I get off to Texas, man. What your team gonna do next year, man?
We're gonna be good, dog. We just got the third. We rated third in recruiting in the nation, and we first of all, you saw how we did. We got Herman. We won. We got a winning season. We won our bowl game. That's what recruits see. When recruits see that, guess what? We had Charlie Strong 3 years. We get a new coach. We have a winning season. We win a bowl game. And the biggest thing to me is, I don't know if y'all watched that bowl game, but when he was making fun of that quarterback throwing up his symbols like that, them kids love that type of stuff. Kids watch coaches, and when they see a coach that can get into it like that and have that little hip side, that makes kids gravitate toward your program, and that makes them say, you know what, I want to come to this program. I want to get them back on their winning ways. And if you look at a lot of guys that committed to Texas, that's the number one thing they were saying. We love Herman. We love what he brings to the table. We love his energy, and we want to get Texas back to where it needs to be.
Damn, boy, you laid the fire, man. I like to hear that. Space, man, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. Listen, man, it seems like I'm in like another country because because it's funny because I'm a Penn State fan. I'm not as like involved in the college football per se, but I do occasionally watch it. So
hey, Saquon and that 19 pick, what would you do?
Man, I'm sorry, Zeke. You gotta. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, that would be crazy, won't it? Won't it be crazy? All right, so hey.